And this is why we talk about the fundamentals of the dating journey here on this program, because, you know, once we understand the fundamentals, then we can align ourselves with the true principles that we need in order to make progress in our dating journey. And, ultimately, when you talk about progress in the dating journey, you're talking about making agreements because every stage of the dating journey has an agreement associated with it. And if you want to be in that stage, you have to secure that agreement. And the best way to secure an agreement is to become agreeable. Now, you don't need to be the most agreeable, you just need to be agreeable enough. Too often we look for perfection, and we don't need perfection. All we need is good enough. Now, good enough for one person may not be good enough for another. And I'm not going to come here and suggest that we have, particular standards of, what constitutes good enough for everybody. But, at the same time, I think that, we just look at those fundamental concepts and say, we're just looking for good enough. I don't need perfect. Because no matter who you end up with, right? Whoever it is that you end up marrying, you're going to have challenges. You're going to have difficulties. You're going to have communication issues. You're going to have, the need for conflict resolution. It doesn't matter who you end up with. Okay. There's some things that you're just going to have to go through because it's the nature of the field. And as romantic as it sounds, and it is terribly romantic, that you would find someone who you just, blissfully happy with forever and ever, and, you're happily ever after lasts for eternity. I'm here to tell you, it's not something that's thrust upon you. The happiness you're looking for is something that you build. The life you're looking for is not something that's given to you or that comes to you out of luck or happenstance, or because someone was benevolent enough to bestow it upon you. The life you're looking for, the life you really want, you have to create it. You have to make it happen. It doesn't just happen on its own. It happens when you make it happen. And too many of us are sitting around on our bums waiting for it to happen and wondering why it's not happening. And so we keep waiting for it to happen. And guess what? It's not happening because you're sitting on your bum and you're not doing anything to make it happen. So get up off your rump and start living your life. Become more agreeable. Make changes in you that will make you a more agreeable partner. And then, again, you're not looking to be agreeable to everybody. You're just looking to be agreeable to the right type of person. I don't really believe, and I don't think I've ever really believed, that we are interchangeable parts. In fact, I can remember in my earliest days when I was really young, when I first heard that idea, and the major support for that idea comes from a misreading of a quote that comes from President Spencer W. Kimball. He gave a devotional at that Provo school back in, oh gosh, what was it, 1977? Somewhere thereabouts, late 70s. And he was basically talking about dating and marriage. And, he talks about how, any good man, any good woman can come together and make the marriage work. Well, people take that, one little snippet of a quote, they run with it. And in doing so, they take it out of context. They forget the context. If you read the entire discourse that he gave, it becomes very clear that he's not saying we're interchangeable parts. There are some people who we fit with better than others. And it's okay to be looking for someone who's a better fit. But I think at the end of the day, and this is where I think, his comment comes into play. At the end of the day, what we're really looking for is good enough. We shouldn't be so hung up on looking for the perfect person that we forego having a relationship with perfectly acceptable candidates who are good enough. Any good man or any good woman can come together and make it work, because in this final analysis, happiness in marriage is about what each person gives to the other. So if you can find someone who's willing to give, and they're willing to get what it is you're willing to give, see, again, you're looking at an agreement. That's where it comes down to. You're looking to make an agreement, and you don't need perfect. You just need good enough.
Howdy peeps. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Join the Journey radio program. And if you did, be sure to click subscribe so you can get more clips in the future. And be sure to check out the Join the Journey radio program broadcast every Wednesday night on the Join the Journey radio network. Find more information at jointhejourneyradio.com.